Today we're going to be talking about why we fail so often when we try lifestyle changes.
What the heck's the matter with us?
I don't know.
Me neither.
Okay.
You know what, Joe? There's a lot of people at the gym these days.
Is there?
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot more than there were in December.
Why do you think that is? Why all of a sudden?
I don't know. Some rumor goes around about people setting resolutions. You know, these big lofty goals of things they want to accomplish. And, you know, they gotta go to the gym. And they're pretty good at keeping it going for at least a couple of days. You know, it's still pretty early in the year.
But, you know, the gym gets overcrowded. There's something I think you're looking forward to that's coming up real soon. And what is that?
It's the month of February.
And why is that?
Because nobody's there anymore.
That's it.
Yeah.
Why is nobody there? Why does this happen? Why do we set goals for our lifestyle, for our health, for our overall like well-being, and yet although we set them, we want to do it.
Yeah.
We
definitely.
can't stay on it. I mean, we're going to talk about some of those things today, but
Yeah.
what do you think is the number one? What do you think is the first reason as to why we fall off so easily when making these changes?
Because we're lazy.
We're lazy.
Yeah.
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 Explain that deeper. Take
okay.
it deeper.
I'll take you to that quantum level of laziness.
Yeah.
I think the big difference comes in how easy it is to set goals.
Yeah.
You know, ahead of time. Like I can think for myself, a lot of times I'll set goals when I'm like laying in bed at nighttime. You know,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
nestled in those sheets. You know,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
feeling good. You're like, tomorrow, I'm gonna do this, this, and this. For right now, I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, I'm gonna do that, and you get excited about it. And then when the morning comes and you wake up and you got to go to that first thing that's on that list, suddenly it's like,
I don't
know?
want to do it anymore.
yeah. And it's not that I don't have the good intention behind it. It's just that it almost seems like it's hard to actually break that habit when push comes to shove and the moment arrives of actually doing something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's this inherent laziness, despite good intention, that for a lot of us overpowers the intention when it ultimately comes down to it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, sometimes that can it's one of those things where, you know, we're faced with a new change. There's a little challenge there,
Yeah.
and that little challenge is sometimes enough to say, you know what, I'm actually more comfortable over here. I'm just going to stay there.
Yeah.
But then it leads to this whole this reason behind why sometimes we make these changes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, here we are. We're in a new year. We're starting fresh, so to
Starting
speak.
Yeah.
Yet. You know, I'm going to eat differently this year. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to make some lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
But why do we want to make those lifestyle changes? What's the core reason? What's the core feeling behind it?
Mm-hmm.
And is that what can sometimes throw us off?
I think it can, because I think not only within my own experience, but talking to a lot of my friends and seeing why they're doing these things, they're always for some external factor rather than, you know, the actual reason of doing the thing itself. An easy example to kind of like, you know, put that out there would be the whole idea of going to the gym. You know, a lot of like our mutual friends, other male friends, why do they do it? Because they want to get jacked. Mm-hmm. Why? Because they want to attract more females. You know, it's like rather than the idea of on the other side of the spectrum, I want to go to the gym because I want to take care of my body.
Yeah.
You know, I want to get in shape and I want to be able to participate in life as actively as I can because that's something I value. If you're a person that values that, right? I think there's those two different schools of thought. And I think that the first one that I mentioned has a much greater tendency to be derailed, you know, because it's so end result focused rather than process focused that it's easy to look at, you know, you're at day 5 of going to the gym every single day and you look at your body in the mirror and you compare that to the body that you were hoping to get from this whole process and it's not there yet. So you're like, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I mean, like it's okay if that was, you know, something that we felt, or that's what kind of initially motivated us. Like it's okay to accept that may have been, you know, within us the reason that started it. But I think what's key is really getting to the point of understanding the importance of our health and like how we have this disconnect between our bodies and our lives and why we are exercising or why we're even eating properly. There's like it's almost like we don't think about the fueling our car. Like for example, you have a car. And everybody's like, you know, we gotta put the right gas, gotta make sure the oil's good. You know, I don't want to get that dent. I want everything to be real solid for that vehicle to run so that I can experience going from one place to another.
Yeah.
Yet, when it comes to our bodies, we don't focus on the gasoline, the oil, or, you know, denting it, quote unquote, as much as we do with our cars. And the reality is the analogy's there because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
We can be taking care of our bodies from a point of connecting with the relationship between food and relationship between fitness and our bodies, yet we fell into that. We lost it.
Yeah. It's almost like, you know, we have this tendency to look at, if we want to keep with the analogy of our bodies being cars, of like, you know what, when my body becomes the Bugatti, I'm going to start taking care of it, and I'm going to want to maintain it.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm a Toyota Corolla. And, you know, this isn't sponsored by either Toyota or Bugatti, but those are the first two cars that come to my head. It's like, as the Toyota Corolla right now, it's like you don't feel the need to maintain it. You don't value it as much. You know, you're always living this for this perpetual moment that's not right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, the key with that I think we really need to focus on is just, it's accepting wherever you are, it's fine. It's cool. It's okay. Like, it's like sometimes when we hear new ideas, we get like defensive, like, oh my gosh, like I'm that person. No, I don't want to change. I get resistance. Like, we all go through it. That's a journey that most of us experience at some point or another, that we don't see something in the same perception that we might a little later on. And so changing your perception is all part of growing.
Yeah.
So if we're going to suddenly start changing our perception around why we do something, that's awesome. That's a great step. But, you know, don't look at your old self and judge it, or other people and judge that. Just let it be what it is, but make those perceptual changes.
Yeah.
But it kind of leads, like, you know, what are some of the other big reasons? I mean, we talked about doing it for the wrong reasons. We talked about sort of having that laziness when we meet a challenge.
Yeah.
But what else we got?
Well, I think when it comes to, you know, why we can't kind of stick with these things is that we make them bigger than they actually are, right? You know, we again, it comes down to the whole projecting of it, but it's like we create these idea of what the process is going to be like, and then when we're actually going to it, anything that derails off of it, it really throws us off, right? So you could look at something else that a lot of people strive for, you know, the whole idea of, you know, finding peace within yourself. And a lot of people, you know, the most common thing that's thrown out, a good way to accomplish that is through meditation.
Yeah.
Right? You know, so a lot of people going into it, myself included, I remember when I first started, I had no idea what to expect, right? But you look at other people's stories, you look at articles that have been written, you look at all these different things that have been spoken about it, and you expect so much from it. You think that you're going to reach this state where it's just pure blackness, you know, and you're going to have peace. Your mind is not going to be saying anything, and all these colors and unicorns and everything are going to be flying all over the place, whatever the case may be. And then you go do it, and it feels like the moment where you weren't doing it. You know, or anything in between there and that. And it's this whole idea of really, really trusting the process, as you mentioned, and sticking with these things, giving them a chance to mold into how they're going to be for you. Because I don't think anything, whether it be diet, exercise, meditation, you know, ballroom dancing, is going to be the exact same experience for anybody.
I signed up for ballroom dancing this year.
And you know what? You're excellent at things like that, so I'm looking forward to seeing you out there.
Yeah, no problem. Well, it's a great point. I mean, you know, we in a sense we bite off more than what we can chew with our expectations sometimes. It's like, you know, meditation is one of those ones where it's like everybody's different and everybody's going to experience, and it, to be honest, this actually goes with diet and it goes with fitness as well. Almost everything is you're living in a unique experience, and like to compare your experience to other people and say like, you know, my body should look like that because it should. Like that guy's working out, I'm working out, or that girl's working out, I'm working out. What, you know? Yet it's like we all have different body types. We all have different areas that are going to develop faster or slower, and we can't allow ourselves to compare ourselves. And same with meditation. It's like someone has a crazy ass experience. It's like, first of all, who knows if they really even had that crazy experience? Secondly, even if they did, it doesn't mean you're going to have it right away. Maybe you see visions. Maybe you just hear things. Maybe you get deeper insight. Everybody's experience is going to be different. And it's important to remember that and not get discouraged by your lack of results.
And why not embrace your uniqueness?
Exactly.
Embrace the uniqueness of your experience. I mean, like, what is so fantastic of, like, for example, you know, being able to meditate like Buddha, or, you know, me being able to go to the gym and look like Channing Tatum. Who cares? It's like, why not embrace Mark's body as it develops and it goes through this process, and, you know, Joe's meditation abilities as it goes through its process.
Whatever it might be and however it might present itself. And that's key. And giving it a process, as we were talking about, it's like give it 21 days. Give it the ample amount of time to form a new habit, because when we do try these things, they are going to take a little bit of deprogramming of old stuff and then a little bit of building some habit to get things going a little more.
Did you pull that number out of your hat? Just 21.
I've heard that a lot with neuroplasticity. It's an idea that it takes about that much time for us to start rewiring the way our brains work a little bit. So there's been a little bit of science in this.
A little bit of science.
A little bit.
Okay, just a little. I don't like too much science.
Yeah. I mean, it does what it does.
Anyway, yeah, we're probably out of time. I think we should probably go to the gym and get jacked.
Probably do that because it's about impressing people.
Yeah, there's probably women watching this right now.
Right.
That, we want to impress by next week coming in.
We want to be jacked next week.
That's right.
From twigs to tree trunks.
Yeah, at least
that's what we're looking for here.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I guess they can catch us next Tuesday. We do these shows every Tuesday morning.
That's right.
And if you ever have ideas for what you want us to talk about, we are more than open to hear that. We have a lot of great stuff. But it's always good to hear from you guys. And don't be afraid to join the comments, talk about what you just heard and what your thoughts are. Until next time, when we're all jacked and in shape, this has been These Guys.
These guys.
Ooh, what are we doing?
Yeah, Philip.
Things.
We
need to redo the intro?
Well, that little thing.
Maybe bring a little bit more life into it?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, guess what? Okay. Talk about lemons today. The 110 count or the 75 count? What type of lemons do you prefer?